Welcome to episode 77 of Timm Talk, the podcast about the DC animated universe co-created by Bruce Timm. I'm Chris Lord.
I'm Cameron Dexter.
And we're both dragging a little bit today. It is a beautiful Sunday morning, but it is also the day after WonderCon.
Yep.
Which is a shitload of walking, but also really damn fun.
It was so much. This was a great WonderCon.
Oh, yeah. Because I missed last year's. I haven't been in 2 years.
It was fine. The big thing I've noticed about WonderCon, for the people who haven't been, is it's really fun, but there's not a lot to, like, experience, I guess is the right way to put it. Like, there's a lot of great panels.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great booths, but unlike San Diego Con or E3 or any of the other big cons that have, like, experience things you can do, like, you know, like you get to see previews of things or have some kind of interactive booth. My brain is not working.
Yeah,
already.
I mean, like we got to play a bit of Rampage at the Rampage booth.
The one button Rampage.
The one button Rampage game. But otherwise, there wasn't a lot. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of stuff to do. And I even found that the layout of the floor was kind of weird. I'm just so used to San Diego where it's just one massive thing and you can actually kind of drift with like some sense of direction from one end to the other.
Yeah.
Whereas here, just because it was spread out in disparate places, it was just a little weird. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely one you can just basically do in a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was still super fun though.
It was awesome.
A little bit less crowded than San Diego too. Which is
infinitely
nice.
less crowded. We got to see Lost in Space a little early.
We did, yeah. We got to watch the first episode. I really enjoyed it. Cameron slept through some of it.
I had an early morning. I wanted to enjoy it. I did enjoy the parts that I got to see.
Yeah, no, it was good. Well, I guess we'll talk about that more when it actually airs in April. But yeah, no, that was cool. Got to have our first fan meetup.
We had our first fan meetup.
With Cameron Miller. Great seeing him.
Yes, that
Great
was
talking
so
with
exciting.
him for a little bit. Yeah, we got to go to Disneyland. Well, not actually Disneyland. Just get drunk.
To walk through Disney.
You got to watch through Disney and get drunk at Trader Sam's.
Yep.
Never been. That was super fun.
We caught the last 10 minutes of the Ready Player One interview.
Yeah, where they said way too much about the movie that neither of us wanted to know. And Ben Mendelsohn was just being all kinds of crazy and hilarious.
Yep. And then, of course, we met up with a bunch of old friends that we hadn't seen
This
in a
is
while.
true. Yeah, old friends from Nerdist back how we first met, Cameron.
It's sentimental, to be honest.
Way back in the day, yeah. No, it was super fun. What I was surprised by, though, I didn't really feel like there were any big announcements at WonderCon. I guess maybe people were...
I feel like they don't usually do big announcements at WonderCon.
Yeah, you think there'd be like something at least. I mean, I know there were screenings of... was it Batman Ninja, Batman Samurai, and Suicide Squad Hell to Pay? We didn't see either one of those. Those were on Friday. But yeah, no, I was disappointed. I was hoping that like some sort of news would come out and then we'd be able to talk about it right away, and nothing happened.
No, I feel like WonderCon is just kind of like it's big for us since it's here. But I don't think it's any different from like Emerald City was last week. It's probably about
that's
2 weeks
true.
ago. It's probably the same size as that. You have C2E2 in a couple weeks, which is the Chicago Con.
Oh yeah.
KC Con is getting bigger and bigger.
It's KC Con.
Kansas City Comic Con.
Oh,
So I have my own shorthand for every con. Because I'm so tired of saying San Diego Comic Con, so I just say San Diego Con now. It's just a convention to celebrate San Diego.
That's true. I mean, that's what I do now when I go down there. I just love the fact that I'm in San Diego. I've got my list of bars and restaurants.
Yep.
I'll maybe hit a panel or two. Otherwise, San Diego.
Yeah, no, this is just like I call WonderCon the little brother of Comic Con because it's just
fair.
like it's just happy to be there.
Yeah, no, it was pretty great. I'm trying to think news-wise, what's worth talking about here?
Nothing.
Well, I mean, hang on. One pretty huge thing. Black Panther now the highest-grossing superhero movie in the U.S.
That's crazy.
Of all time.
Yeah.
Beating out the Avengers, which in turn had beat out The Dark Knight. That's nuts.
As of recording, it's sitting at 630 million.
Yeah, 5 week at the top of the box office. Only just got beat out by Pacific Rim. But even then, Pacific Rim only brought in like 25 million or something like that.
Yeah, not great.
No, but
I mean, have a great trailer come out this week, which I'm very excited for.
Deadpool 2.
I was going to talk about Tag.
Oh.
Equally excited for both.
Equally excited, yeah. I mean, no, go ahead and talk about Tag.
Talk
about Tag,
amazing.
Cameron.
It's apparently based off a real story.
Yeah, which is kind of nuts.
About, I guess, 3 friends that have been playing a very competitive game of tag for 30 years.
I love it.
Which sounds amazing.
Yeah.
It makes me rethink my friendships with everyone.
As you should.
Yeah. And it's just like the most stacked cast of amazing and funny people.
All right, so it's John Hamm, Hannibal Buress, Ed Helms, Jeremy Renner.
Easier. Yeah. Which I love. Have you seen the theories that this is the Hawkeye prequel?
Oh my god!
Because he says he's retiring, and people are like, "Oh, he's retiring to go be Hawkeye."
He's gonna go out and live on a farm.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it does look actually really, really fun. It's like one of those rare, big budget, all star cast studio comedies that actually looks pretty solid.
Jake Johnson, Rashida Jones, Isla Fisher.
Oh my god,
Hannibal Buress. Too many people.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be a lot of fun. No, excited for that, and then of course also excited for the Deadpool 2.
Oh yeah,
movie trailer, all of it. It looks just ridiculous and fun. It looks like what I want it to be.
Right.
And again, I'm just gonna run with the confidence on this, just because it's David Leitch directing, and did he do? Oh shit. He did the first John Wick. I'm trying to remember. I feel like he did the second one. Or no, is it Chad Stahelski did the second John Wick, so that David Leitch could go off and do Atomic Blonde.
David Leitch, are we just doing directed?
Yeah, just directed. Because they co-directed the first one, but then they separated off the other projects.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember if
Atomic Blonde, a Deadpool short, and John Wick.
Okay, so he didn't do
3 things.
John Wick 2.
He did not.
Okay, well, because John Wick 2 was exactly what I wanted from John Wick 2.
Right.
So I was kind of hoping. But I still think it's going to be good. I'm pretty damn excited for it. It looks absurd. There's X-Force in it.
He produced John Wick 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, of course he would.
Yeah. There's not really much to talk about. It's exactly what we want in a Deadpool movie.
Yeah, just go.
X-Force.
Don't listen to us talk about it. Just go watch the damn trailer.
Yeah, we also didn't take notes on it, so.
No, because we slapped the notes together right at the last minute.
Yep. We kind of know the plot of the movie now, which is interesting.
Yeah.
So it sounds like Cable is coming from the future to kill the kid from Hunt for the Wilder People.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm down.
Yeah, looks great. I'm on board.
Yep.
Bring it on. Bring it on soon.
All or nothing?
Yeah. Wait, we won't get that till like July though, do we?
Yeah.
Damn it! I don't want to wait that long.
And we have plenty of stuff to fill the time.
Yeah, this is true.
We already Player One. We got Infinity War. We got Ant-Man and Wasp. I think it's before then. Got Incredibles.
Right there. So many. This is something that you will be excited about. I don't know if you saw this. That while doing press for Ready Player One, Spielberg said that Tintin 2 is in fact not dead. He's just really insistent that Peter Jackson do the second one. And that they haven't really started the script yet. That's the problem. But even from the point they start the script, that's such a long shooting process. Animation process.
Does Spielberg see himself as immortal? Because I do.
I mean, I don't know how. Yeah, I think he must be. Yeah, I think. You know what he has?
What?
He's got the Holy Grail.
That's true.
Yeah.
He does.
Yeah.
He also has E.T.'s finger. That'll continually heal him.
Yeah, because it's amazing how much work he still puts out and how many projects he's still attached to. So, I mean...
And it was great hearing the cast of Ready Player One talk about him. Yeah. And, like, the main guy...
Ty Sheridan.
Yeah. He had a great story about the first time they were in mocap. And Spielberg, like, told the whole cast to leave, just him... The whole cast and crew to just leave him and Ty. And Spielberg pulls his phone out, and he's like, I need you to do the strut from Saturday Night Fever.
The John Travolta strut.
Yeah. And so Steven Spielberg pulls out his phone and starts playing...
The Bee Gees.
The song, and like struts over to Ty and just goes, action. And I'm like, that is... If it was any other person, that would be creepy.
It would be, but it's just when it's Spielberg, it's not.
It's like, I imagine it in my head, and I hope it's exactly as it's played out.
Yeah. And what was so interesting about that panel is that Spielberg was noticeably absent. So it was Ernest Cline and Zach Penn, the two writers, the main cast, including Mendo.
And all the questions were just about Spielberg.
Well, I mean, because you can't escape the shadow of his work. And it's weird to call it a shadow because that sort of has like negative implications, but just like his impact on cinema is insane.
Yeah.
Like they were talking about that the book itself pulls so many references from all of his work, not directing, producing, everything. And that he was always trying to kind of keep that down and everyone else is trying to put it back in there because you can't basically have a movie that's about like kind of 80s nostalgia with tons of 80s nostalgia without touching on everything that he's worked on.
Yeah.
Yeah, just what a fascinating guy. And like they were talking about he'll just start telling stories about shooting Jaws or going motorcycle riding with Steve McQueen. You're like, my God, this man is so awesome.
It's too much.
Oh, I know.
He's on a whole different level.
I know. He's his best friends with Lucas, who just shows up onto the set to give him shit for using digital cameras. It all sounds amazing. Like he's so amazing that like secondhand stories from people that have just worked with him are still in fact amazing.
I think Ready Player One is so fascinating for Spielberg to be a part of because Holloway, who is kind of the god figure of Ready Player One, like I see that as Spielberg almost.
Yeah.
Like Halliday is this person that had every connection. He was on such a different level from the world. That's basically what Spielberg is. Like he is this person that every single person in the world knows.
Yeah.
Like you have actors that are that are kind of there. Like you have your Tom Cruises, your Jolies, your Beyoncés.
Yeah.
And like they are household names and people see them like on another plane. But then you have Spielberg, who is like
God.
Like every single person who is alive has grown up with his movies in one way or another.
Yeah. I think people often say like that like there's some percentage of the population that has seen a James Bond movie at some point because there's been 24 of them.
Yeah.
I think Spielberg's the same way. It's probably a higher percentage of that too because he's just worked on so many things.
And that was we'll stop talking about this in a second.
No, we shouldn't.
Oh no, this is the podcast.
This is the Spielberg podcast. Yeah. Third-hand stories about Steven Spielberg.
One of my favorite things that happened in that interview was in the panel was the moderator asking the simple question of what's your favorite Spielberg movie. And the cast aged between Mendelsohn to the guy playing the kid playing Shoto, who's maybe like 12,
13. Yeah.
Right. Shoto's the younger brother. Kaido and Shoto.
I've only read the book once, and I read it about a year ago. So.
Okay. And so hearing the difference between the two age groups, like, because everyone pretty much said like either like Indiana Jones,
E.T. was thrown out there.
But then Shoto was like Tintin.
Tintin's like, great.
That's right, because that's what you grew up with.
Yeah,
and that's so crazy that like that is like there's still kids like now who are now just getting introduced to Spielberg in such different films. You're gonna have in the next 5 years, you're gonna have a kid be like, "Oh, BFG was my favorite."
No one's ever gonna say BFG is their favorite Spielberg
Probably
film.
Not.
No. Even by your generous love of movies, you didn't like that one.
I did not like BFG. I also slept through BFG.
It was pretty bad. It had one good sequence.
Surrounded by a dozen fart jokes.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. But yeah, no, I mean, so Ready Player One, super excited for that.
Yeah.
All right, I have one last little bit of news, unless you have something really big you want to talk about.
I want to talk about briefly, because we don't have much information yet.
Yeah.
Marvel Land.
Oh,
Disney
right.
announced that in California, Disney California Adventure, over on our side of the Disney parks, they're removing Bugs Land, which is kind of sad because it's a really cute area.
It's a cute area, but no one goes there.
I know. Well, you leave your kids there, and that's what's nice.
I don't think you leave your kids there. I think you go there with your kids because the line for cars is 3 hours.
Yeah.
And they can't go on Screamin' or Guardians
of
the Galaxy.
It's the kids,
so you go to Bugs Land because you have nowhere else to go.
It's the younger area for DCA.
Yes.
Because DCA is a lot more teen to adult centered.
Yes.
So they announced that Bugs Land is now leaving by the end of the year. And by 2020, we're going to get Marvel Land, finally, which is interesting. Because I'm excited.
I mean, it's not surprising.
No, not at all.
At all. Like, they're leaning in real hard on their intellectual property these days. We were joking about this. That at some point, they're just going to rename California Adventure to, like, intellectual property park.
What was the one that I said?
Disney corporate.
Disney company affiliates.
Yeah, Disney company affiliates. Yeah, let's
DCA.
keep the name, keep the acronym. Yeah, because at this point, it's going to be all Pixar. It's going to be all Marvel. Star Wars is across the way over at Disneyland. But yeah.
It's interesting to see because when DCA first arose, it was supposed to be a condensed California.
Yeah.
And they're quickly trying to escape that name.
Well, because it never really worked for them.
Right.
Like even, so way back in the day, they actually, in front of California Adventure, they had a massive California sign. So they just had like huge, like 10-foot tall letters out across the entrance that just spelled out California. I remember because when I was there with my family, my brother and I squatted down on either side of the eye to make look like a giant penis.
Nice.
And made my mom take the photo.
Nice.
It was delightful. But yeah, they've moved away from that a lot. I mean, because you walk in there, it's like, oh, you got the LA section, and there's like Napa Valley with the winery and the Russian River, the water rapid ride, and all this other sort of stuff. And they've really quickly just like pulled away from that.
Yeah.
Because it's an interesting idea, but it never panned out. And the most successful stuff they put in there has usually been the branded stuff. So Cars and the whole Cars Land, turning over Pixar Pier, because I think at this point the Toy Story ride is probably their most popular one on the pier.
I mean, that's also biased because I make you ride it every time.
Yeah, but I love the ride. Yeah. I'm terrible at it.
I love that ride.
You beat me every time.
It's okay.
It's fine.
I practice a lot.
You do practice a lot, but it's fine because I've beaten you on Buzz Lightyear before.
That's true.
Yes.
That's true. But yeah, I'm sure we'll get more information as the year goes on, and I'm sure I'll excitedly talk about it. So one last thing to tie it back to DC. Back to Spielberg.
Back to Spielberg, of course. Tie back to DC. So they're doing a new run of Justice League comics.
Okay.
And the new lineup is essentially the lineup from the Justice League show. So they're bringing in Hawkgirl, they're bringing in Jon Stewart Green Lantern rather than Hal Jordan.
The DCAU.
Yes.
Okay. Show.
What show did you think I meant?
I mean, we have Justice League Action on right now.
No, it was the Justice League TV movie from back in '97. So it's Fire,
Super
Ice,
Friends.
Guy Gardner, The Flash.
Yeah, the best set.
Martian Manhunter.
There have been multiple Justice League. I know we're on a podcast that only talks about one of them.
Yeah. Well, it's certainly not going to be the lineup from the movie because
that was where my brain went first.
Yeah, that's recently revealed that it's the lowest grossing DCEU movie yet.
Woo! You did it, guys.
You did it. Well done. Quick little round of applause out there for everyone at Warner Brothers and their beautiful Justice League movie.
It's okay. They're going to make it all back with Krypton.
Oh, my God. Actually, that looks kind of interesting.
We'll save that for another talk.
Their version of Brainiac looks pretty cool. But anyways, yeah. So it's cool that like that lineup will come back in the comics.
That's awesome.
So I might read it. I probably won't.
You know my stance on that.
You won't read anything. So you won't read a goddamn street sign, much less a comic book.
No, that's why I use maps. That's why I use Google Maps. I have to read street signs.
It's the audiobook version of reading a street sign. God damn it. All right. Well, shall we finally now get into our topic at hand?
I guess so.
Our episodes of the week, which were fine. I would call them both middle of the road.
Yeah. I think this is one of my least favorite Catwoman episodes. Actually, that's not true because we have the one where she turns into a cat.
Yeah. Well, any sort of animal transformation episode in any medium is bad. Actually, hang on. No, we'll ask this question now.
I mean, Man-Bat.
Okay, Man-Bat. But can you really name any great animal transformation storylines in television or film?
I'm sure.
Animorphs does not count.
I was going to go Wonder Twins first.
Okay, no, I'll give you the Wonder Twins because they're deliberately kind of ridiculous and campy.
Yeah.
And one of them turns into a bucket of water. So I'll give you the Wonder Twins. But they're like characters. They're not really like an arc, a story.
There's one. I know there's one specific one that I can't think of right now.
I know people generally love An American Werewolf in London, right? But I haven't actually seen that, so I can't speak to that one specifically.
What shows have transferred?
I mean, there was Teen Wolf.
Digimon Frontier, the fourth season of Digimon, which no one likes except me.
Isn't that like most things, though?
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Wolf Children. Oh,
what the fuck is Wolf Children?
It's one of the greatest anime films of all time.
Jesus Christ.
It's so you have to watch it, Chris.
Okay, wait, hang on. Is it one of the greatest anime films of all time by Cameron standards or by human standards?
By human standards.
Okay.
It's a super I'm gonna give you the plot, and it's gonna sound horrible, but I need you to hold on for a second.
I'm sure it will.
It's about a girl who falls in love with a guy.
Okay.
Typical setup.
Okay.
But she finds out later the guy is part of this weird clan, or this weird bloodline in Japan that are basically werewolves. She still loves him. They have 2 kids. But on the way to the delivery room, the husband gets hit by a car and dies. And so now she has to, not knowing anyone else in the bloodline, has to figure out how to take care of children that turn into wolves every full moon.
So baby puppies?
Yes.
Oh my God.
And it's so sweet, and it's really sad.
You know what? That actually
it's beautifully
sound
animated.
Pretty good, because it's taking that idea and turning it on its head a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. I'm kind of on board for that. Also, if you give birth to werewolves, would that be called a litter? Does she give birth?
She calls them a litter.
She does?
Mm-hmm.
That's weird.
Well, it's only 2 kids.
Yeah,
so
but still,
it's a small litter.
Still, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah. And it's really sweet. And it's really sad. It's so sad.
Okay. You know what? Fine, Cameron. I'll give you that one.
Thank you.
All right.
If any one of our listeners watches anime movies, they know Wolf Children, and they know how sad. And I think it's Madhouse animated it, so it's like Madhouse is like the animation studio in Japan.
Like more so than Studio Ghibli?
Well, Ghibli does like the whole production.
Yeah.
Madhouse is just the animation.
Oh, just the animation studio. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Not the production company.
Right.
Okay.
And anything Madhouse touches is amazing. Did I
Okay.
make you watch Redline?
I've never seen an anime film.
Okay, I'm gonna change that too.
I know, and it's it's not for any good reason really.
Mm-hmm. We'll start with Digimon, the first movie.
Oh,
Great soundtrack.
Oh God. It's on your nerd soundtrack. It's on your Comic-Con soundtrack.
I have a whole playlist because when I would drive down to San Diego for Comic-Con, I would need a soundtrack to listen to because
of course
sit in traffic for 17 hours.
You can always listen to podcasts.
No, because then I can listen to Pokemon To Be a Master, the soundtrack, greatest soundtrack of the Pokemon franchise. No, that's not true. Pokemon the first movie has a much better soundtrack than Pokemon To Be a Master.
I think you're just riding the high of actually having other real proper nerds to talk to yesterday. Right? We ran into our old friend Matt, and he and Cam were able to just go back and forth about all this stuff that's way beyond my nerd knowledge.
Gucci.
I know. It made me sadly aware of just what a terrible nerd friend I am to you, Cameron.
No, you were great. Okay, let's jump into this because we went on a long tangent there.
So. The first one is Absolute Power from Superman. So it's the return of Jax Ur and Mala.
Yes.
Which from what I remember about them, I remember them being interesting ideas for characters, but not great executions or episodes.
Well, they were kind of Zod.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically Zod and Ursa. Actually, in fact...
the voice actress.
Yeah, this time around, they replaced the voice actress for Mala, and now it's Sarah Douglas, who was, in fact, Ursa in Superman and Superman 2. Uh-huh. Did you find that this general setup of them accidentally getting taken out of the Phantom Zone and taking over a planet and Superman just happenstance discovering them worked? Did it work better for you than when they were on Earth? What did you think?
The episode worked except for their explanation of how they escaped the Phantom Zone.
Dumb as fuck.
Yeah. I would have rather it been like the people on this planet were experimenting with multi-dimensional travel. And they happened to tear a hole in the Phantom Zone.
Which would have made way more sense, because as is right now, it's just like they were observing 2 meteorites crashing
right outside
adjacent to a black hole, and somehow that tore open space-time right where Jax Ur and Mala happened to be in the Phantom Zone, and they just stumbled out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's an advance enough civilization that you could believe they would have maybe accidentally tapped into something like the Phantom Zone.
And they could have done the same tactic as what happened in the first time, where Mala is talking about how like she isn't supposed to be here, and like she's wrongfully prisoned here. Help me get out.
Do you think they were just trying to avoid retreading territory by not having? Because the thing is, if they had introduced the Phantom Zone technology on that planet, then they could have just tried to find a way to put them back in the Phantom Zone again.
I guess that's true.
Which they were clearly trying to avoid. So man, I guess that makes sense. It was, I've always have a problem with too many coincidences in stories.
Yeah.
Like I forget where I first heard it. I feel like I first heard it in regards to Spider-Man 3. Like in any story, you're okay buying into one impossible thing, right? So in Spider-Man 3, we're okay buying into this world where Spider-Man exists.
Where Spider-Man can be so cool in all black.
Yeah, but we have a hard time then believing that a alien life form happens to be on a meteor that happens to fall next to Peter Parker in Central Park. We also have a hard time believing that the guy who may have killed his uncle happens to fall into a particle accelerator and become the Sandman. It's just like, if it's too many coincidences, we're fine with the impossible, not the improbable.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that was my problem here, was that both their breaking out of the Phantom Zone felt a little bit improbable, and also the fact that Superman would just happen to come across, people traveling through space from this planet next to a black hole.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Sure. That's all we have today. Thank you for listening to Timm Talk. So yeah, Jax-Zor and Mala are picked up from these scientists, brought back to their planet,
which we never learn the name of.
Yeah, which is now deemed New Krypton.
Yeah, you have a theory.
I do have a theory.
So who they might be, though.
Yes. So the inhabitants of the planet have orange skin with yellow eyes and kind of almost like jet blacky purple hair. Mm-hmm. Which is the exact same appearance as Sinestro.
Yeah.
So this whole time I was waiting for Sinestro to appear, because I also know the next episode we're going to talk about is Green Lantern.
This is true.
But it would be interesting if if that is what turned Sinestro. I wouldn't really want it to be around Superman and not around the Guardians.
Let's see.
For why he turned.
So Sinestro is a Korrigarian. Had to look that up.
Mm-hmm. You didn't know that?
No, I just didn't know that. Did you know that?
No, I did not know that.
Come on, you're the Green Lantern fan here, Cameron. I was trying to see if I could get more information about that they look like, or if there's any indication that this could be sort of like headcanon, that this is in fact his home planet with the DCAU, but I'm not seeing anything.
I think this planet blew up, right? That's usually the story for every Green Lantern that becomes a villain.
I don't know. I sadly don't really know that much actually about Green Lantern.
Atrocitus. His planet blew up.
Didn't he destroy it though?
Probably. The one who replaced Sinestro in the Sinestro Corps, whose name is escaping me. It sounds like Amarillo, which is Spanish for yellow.
Okay.
But I don't remember his actual name.
Okay.
I think his planet also blew up.
Okay. Well, maybe our friends of the DCA Watchtower, if they're listening, let us know, guys, if this is a theory that exists out there, is that the absolute power planet, aka New Krypton, is in fact Korrigar.
Yes.
Let's call it headcanon.
Let's do it.
Let's just say it is. It makes it more interesting, right? But yeah, Superman is out observing this black hole. And actually, so, again, I've pretty much seen all of these. And when I saw the image of the black hole there, I immediately remembered this episode and how it ends.
Oh, the ending was terrifying.
Yeah, no, it's pretty nuts. And I think you can kind of tell where I think they just really wanted to have a set piece around a black hole.
Yeah.
Which I think they actually did pretty well from that specific
I wish it was more, not intense, but I mean kind of like more urgent.
Yeah.
Because I guess we'll just jump straight to the end. There's not much talk about in the middle.
Yeah, there's not that much talk about in the
middle. They basically
really
rule with the totalitarian fist because it's what you would expect.
Yeah, I did think it was kind of interesting. I meant to go back and re-watch this section to get the quote because I couldn't find it online. But Jax-Zor more or less says something like, each person has
a job fit for them
according to their ability.
Oh yeah,
according to our needs, which is a twist on from each according to his ability to each according to his needs from Karl Marx.
Okay,
which I thought was very interesting. That that couldn't have been coincidence. Like that must have been a deliberate twist on that. I thought it was very interesting that someone justifying a totalitarian regime would use like communist mentality to do so. I don't know. I thought that was kind of interesting. Well, but I mean, again, socialism is totalitarian. Well, not socialism. Fascism. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't know. Philosophy was a while ago. I'm happy that I just remembered totalitarianism.
I've forgotten most of my government structures in the 10 years since I studied it.
I guess government structure is a better way to put it. We had a philosophy class in high school that went over all these totalitarianism, utilitarianism, which I always referred to as Spockianism.
What's utilitarianism?
The need to the many outweigh the need to the few. That's why it's also called Spockianism.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great thinking. Mm-hmm. I know. I've tried to use that before in arguments. People are always like, "Bleh."
Yeah.
It's a great rebuttal.
Right.
Bleh.
Yeah. So,
but yeah,
I liked after that speech, Superman gives the great comeback of if only someone down there would smile. Or Jackson was like, and everyone is happy. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, sure.
Because there's this underground resistance because the pilots that Superman saves from the black hole are part of this kind of military rebellion that's going on in the background. And they try and convince Superman that he should join them and fight Jack-Zor. And I actually thought this was pretty interesting that he was willing to walk away.
Yeah. I was going to bring that point up exactly because Jack-Zor says this planet is out of Superman's jurisdiction.
Yeah.
And Superman kind of agreed. He's like, well, people seem fine.
Well, it's not even because, he's like, he can see that there's something wrong, but as he tells What's-Her-Bucket, I can't remember the character's name, but that if
Lady Sinestro.
Yeah, Lady Sinestro. Sinestra.
Yes.
If he were to try and take on Jack-Zor, like the battle that would ensue and the bloodshed that would be caused would be greater than any other wars that have happened on that planet.
Yeah.
And I liked that because that is how Superman would think when he's written by people who understand Superman. Mm-hmm. And it's true. Like that puts him in this weird moral bind where he knows that in a weird way, it's actually better for him to leave than it is to stay and fight. Mm-hmm. And he's totally prepared to do that until he comes across robots that are going to invade Earth.
Yeah. Yeah. Until he has a motive that fits his life.
Now, did you think, because I had this thought, when he goes down into the hangar and he opens up one of the ships and there are robots getting dropped into the ships, I was like, oh, well, he's going to fight that robot.
Oh, yeah, I was waiting for the robot fight.
I was too, because that's what they always do.
Well, the thing that kind of surprised me that didn't happen is when you see... So when Jack-Zor and Mala come out of the Phantom Zone, they're stuck in space and they can't breathe.
Yeah.
There's a claw that extends out from the ship.
Yeah.
Which is, typical stuff.
Yeah.
The claw was a Brainiac design.
Oh, yes, it was kind of. Yeah, like the rounded triangle.
Yeah, the three circle thing with like claws extending from each circle.
Called a trifecta. That's not right.
The triptych. No, that's three paintings.
Nope.
But yeah, when like the robots were going in, there's like I could kind of see a little bit of Brainiac inspiration in them.
Yeah.
And I was waiting for like him getting into the computer and finding out that Brainiac had some hand in this.
Yeah.
Which I don't think I would have liked because I don't know how to end that episode. Now you have Brainiac and Jack-Zor and Mala.
Then it just gets a little overkill. But
you don't want them to team up.
No, you don't. But I can see what you mean about, I think we're so used to seeing connective tissue everywhere. Because this universe is really good about doing that well, and often sometimes doing it kind of subtly too. And so I think we're looking for that. And then when it's not there, like the fact that you were like, "Oh, is this Sinestro's planet?" or "Oh, is that Brainiac?" We're used to seeing that, and then it's just like, "Oh no, it's just coincidence. It's just part of the overall production design."
And it also is partly because like we know where it all ends up.
This is also true. Yeah,
it's like if I was watching this live, I probably wouldn't have made those connections.
No, you wouldn't have thought about Brainiac. You're like, well, Brainiac's still out there.
Yeah,
out there somewhere.
In that black hole, maybe.
I mean, where is he right now?
He blew up the spaceship because he was trying to escape.
Yeah. Okay. So the last we saw of him, he blew up. It was nighttime, but so he had been hiding out in Wayne Tech. I think at this point he's off Earth.
Yeah.
Because I think the next time we come across him is his big like Asteroid M style base.
Oh, okay.
Out in space, I think, in Justice League. I mean, it's JLU. I think it's Justice League.
I think it's Justice League. I don't remember.
I don't know, but I think as of right now, he's off. I think he's basically just hiding out somewhere. Yeah, that sounds right.
So we have robots that
that he doesn't fight, which was a surprise.
He does not fight. That are headed towards Earth. They have an armada.
Yeah.
So Superman finally was like, "Oh, I guess I have to do something now."
All right. Now it's my problem.
Yep. And so they go out. So I feel like I missed a scene.
Well, I mean,
because the next thing I remember is them in space.
He tries to.
Oh, he gets knocked out.
Fight, and he
has
knocked
the magnetic
out.
bands.
Yeah, exactly. So then he and Sinestra, whatever her character's name
Lady
is,
Lady Sinestra,
get strapped.
Give her full title, please.
Okay, I will. Lady Sinestro, aka Sinestra.
Yes.
Gets strapped to the front of a missile that's going to get launched into the black hole. And then we think it's curtains for Superman and his new ally until the head of the military. Did you catch the voice actor on that one, by the way?
I don't. I was too grossed out by the weird sexual tension between that guy and Mala.
Okay. Real quick, I want to talk about that. I thought Jackster and Mala were a couple.
Me too.
Like, that wasn't it even just explicitly stated?
I think so.
In the first time around?
I thought they said that she loved him, and that's why she followed him.
Yeah.
Even though he was crazy.
Yeah. I mean, who am I to judge? Maybe they have like a nice open relationship
right.
sort of thing going on. Maybe they're swingers.
Yeah.
Or maybe
they grew up in the 60s.
Yeah, maybe it's just at this point Jaxor is so focused on ruining the planet that he's come to accept the fact that his lady love needs to find some loving somewhere else. And why not in the arms of
Sinestro?
This very, very handsome Sinestro-esque alien-looking guy.
Yeah.
Who happened to be voiced by Carl Lumley. Martian Manhunter.
Got it.
There we go. I'm surprised because it's the same voice.
I wasn't even. I was hungover this morning, Chris. I wasn't thinking about anything.
God damn it, Cameron.
I'm just gonna come out and say it. It was. I did not drink enough water yesterday.
I wish I could blame my just complete absent-mindedness right now, also being hungover, but it's just general stupidity.
Yes, out in space, the guard lets freeze Superman and Lady Sinestra,
aka Sinestra.
Yes,
use the full title, Cameron.
Lady Sinestra is a compromise that I'm coming with.
No, I refuse.
Okay. So now we have the urgent thing that I was talking about 27 minutes ago.
Sure.
They are in a black hole. They kind of broke the routing system, so that
the navigation.
Sure. What did I say? The routing system? They're trying to reconnect to Wi-Fi, Chris.
They broke spaceways.
Yes. It's a big problem.
The navigation system, which the primary console is clearly tied into every electrical and power conduit and fuel line and structural integrity system in the entire ship.
That's how my GPS is.
Yeah, that thing has a rapid decay.
Yeah.
When one console gets broken.
So the guard breaks the nav system, frees them. The two of them, Lady Sinestro and Sinestro guard number 2, escape in the escape pod, and then we have the big fight again.
Yeah.
Between Superman and Mala and Jaxor. And with the urgency thing, the ship is slowly drifting towards the black hole, and as we know with black holes, that the closer you get, the faster you get.
Yep.
I would love for that aspect to come into it. The ship is also exploding around them while they're getting pulled into the black hole. But while all that's happening, everything seems so there's still a fight scene.
Yeah.
But everything around them still feels so calm. And also, there's a good dozen or two workers on the ship
people.
Still.
Yeah. I guess sacrifices?
Yeah, I guess so.
And this is the bloodshed the Superman was referring to.
Yeah.
But it's fine. It's only a dozen people. That's acceptable losses for him.
Right.
Yeah.
Spock would be okay with that.
Yeah.
So then they go out in space, and Superman is holding his breath while fighting them again.
Yeah.
And he punches them into the black hole, pretty much.
Yeah.
They hit something and fall into the black hole.
Yeah, they're trying to get into an escape pod, and they're just not. Yeah, Superman throws a rock at them or something, and they get knocked into it. And they get. I mean, it's a pretty intense sequence when they get pulled into it, and they stretch out and spin and get drawn in.
Yeah.
But
it was really creepy.
It was pretty creepy. That's what I remembered when I first saw the black hole. I'm like, oh, I remember how this ends. They get sucked into it, and then never appear again because presumably they're dead inside the black hole. But I do see what you mean. This is actually a very cinematic setup for the climax of a movie. If you have people on a ship that is falling apart as it's drifting towards the black hole. Not only is there a ticking clock, but the ticking clock is increasingly getting shorter.
Yeah.
Because it's drawing in faster. People are trying to escape. You're trying to stop the villains or whatever. Like it's almost, to jump back to the real heart of this podcast, almost Spielbergian in just the level of detail that could be built into it, and just like the level of intensity.
Let's go over how Spielberg would make this episode.
How would he do it? Yes. I mean, he is a big fan of Rube Goldberg-esque action set pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's see.
We don't have to go into this. This episode is now worth Spielberg time.
This is true. But I do see what you mean about it being a cool idea that they didn't really pay off on.
Mm-hmm. Because we've had plenty of other movies and cartoons go into the escaping a black hole trope.
Yeah.
And also, just to jump to the beginning of the episode for a half second, Superman can easily fly out of a black hole. We see him push an entire spaceship.
Yeah.
Just with his jet boots and his strength.
Which my immediate thought
out of the gravitational pull of the hole.
My thought was, wouldn't his ship have more powerful thrusters than his boots if he had to push something out of there?
Nope.
Yeah, you can tell that they were really particular about avoiding anything genuinely scientific in regards to how the physics of a black hole work.
Yeah. The closest we got was that 3D model that they kept popping up every now and then of like how this is what a black hole does. It goes in and down, and that's it.
Yep. Yeah, it's just all powerful, right? It takes control over everything it touches.
I liked that quote a lot.
I did too, actually. Yeah.
Mala said, "A black hole is one true ultimate power. Everything it touches becomes itself."
Yes, except Jaxor said it.
Who did I say?
Jaxor. No, you said Mala.
Did I say Mala? I meant Jaxor.
Yeah.
Okay. Get off my ass. Get off my back.
I refuse.
And then the last quote of the episode, which I thought was really good, was Superman leaving the planet. He's like, "You guys taught me something very important: that evil triumphs when good men do nothing."
Do you know who said that?
It's Superman. I just said
it. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yeah. Edmund Burke stole that quote from Superman.
Yeah.
After watching this episode.
He did.
That's good. That's
good.
really good.
I assume he said that after this episode.
Yeah.
Or before this episode. So he got in a time machine.
He did, yeah. Yeah, he just he went into the future and hopped into a time portal, and it was all good.
Yeah.
Again, interesting idea. I think this is the problem with so many of the Superman episodes, right? Is you get this feeling like they had a really good idea, and they didn't quite know what to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it's interesting to bring back Mala and Jaxor.
Like, this would have been a much better episode as a space superhero. So as a Manhunter, as a Martian Manhunter episode, as a Green Lantern episode.
Yeah.
This is a Green Lantern episode because they go to Sinestro's planet.
Then it all would have made sense.
Yeah.
It all would have tied together in this perfect little bow.
Mm-hmm.
And could have chucked into a black hole.
Yeah, because Superman in space is never done well, I feel like.
No. I mean, the introduction of Lobo, those were pretty good. But even then, he's only in space for a small portion.
You know what? Batman did this better.
What did Batman do?
In Batman Brave and the Bold, I want to say episode 3 or maybe 2, he teams up with Blue Beetle.
Okay.
And they warp to another planet that is being oppressed by superpowered people.
Uh-huh.
And it's great. So then Blue Beetle and Batman have to find a way to stop them while convincing the people that their rulers are bad people.
That does sound pretty good, actually.
And it's great.
Yeah.
Because then at the end, spoilers, they see Blue Beetle as their new god.
Yeah.
And it's really fun.
It's like the opening of Star Trek Into Darkness when they swoop in to save Spock, and then the native people like start drawing the ship.
Mm-hmm.
They worship the Enterprise, as everyone should.
As everyone should.
Beautiful ship that it is. Yeah. What a surprise that someone else did this better than Superman the Animated Series.
Right.
But
and of all people, it's Batman.
It's all people, of course. But Batman does everything better.
Mm-hmm.
Batman makes Superman episodes better too.
Yeah.
It's fine though.
Yeah, it was all right.
Did you? Which one did you like better though? This or Cult of the Cat?
Oh gosh, I was not a big fan of Cult of the Cat.
Can
I pick neither?
Yeah, you can absolutely pick
I think
neither.
Neither of them are really good. I would
That's
skip this whole
very,
week.
very good option here.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Cult of the Cat is it's actually our last episode with Catwoman.
Oh, really?
Kind of sadly.
That's fine. I don't like this costume. They keep making her head too big.
It is weirdly
because
large.
it's like there's you can tell when it's different animators, which is never a good thing for animation. No. Because when it's a wide shot, they basically give her like oh god, what's the villain in the Green Lantern movie? Hector Hammond? No.
Yes, I think so.
Is that? I guess that.
I'm pretty sure that's right. Having not seen it, I know, but yeah, I think you're right.
Sure. They make her like the top half of her head so bulbous, and it looks so weird, especially with the pointy ears and the slender chin. I hate her look in a couple of these scenes.
It's not great though, and we've talked about the fact that when they brought her back in for the new Batman Adventures, they really lessened what made her interesting.
Yeah,
because in BTAS she was very dynamic because she was actually trying to do the right thing a lot of the time. She was trying to go straight, and she just kept going up against obstacles preventing her from getting on like straight and narrow.
Right.
And here, they just have her having fallen back into a life of crime.
Yeah, she's just a common thief.
Yeah. Now, it makes her less dynamic, but I think as a character, she still has personality, though. Like, I like her when she's on screen. And what I also like, too, is that Batman also kind of conveys our similar disappointment. Like, when he sees her now, he's just like, okay, you're just stealing again. Like, why would I go to my way to try and help you? Like,
yeah.
He conveys that sense of feeling betrayed because they were so close and because she had so much potential and clearly has just fallen away from that.
I see this as Loki from Thor 2.
Okay.
Of all she's trying to do is get her way and manipulate anyone that's going to get in that way and get in that path.
Yeah. And I don't think it's beyond the scope of her character to do that. Mm-hmm. It makes her less interesting, admittedly. But, it fits too. Like, that would be an arc that could happen to Catwoman where she would try and eventually be like, fuck it, I'm just going to go back to doing what I know I'm good at, and I'm just going to look out for myself the entire time.
Yeah.
And go to any means necessary to achieve her ends. So it's a shift from where she was, but it's also one that I believe. Mm-hmm. In the same way that I could buy Penguin trying to go, straight and opening up the club and filling into this different niche in the underworld, I can believe Catwoman having decided to just become a thief again.
Well, with Penguin, we actually had a whole episode about that where he tried to go straight.
Yeah.
And so we did get to see that struggle, and that would have been great to see as Catwoman.
But we did see that, though. I mean, because she did. Like, there was that whole episode. I don't remember which one it was, but like it starts out with her on trial.
Oh, okay, I know.
Right? Yeah, and so we never saw her.
I think it's with Red Claw is the villain in that one.
Was that the cat? I think that was, yeah. I think she suits up again to try and stop Red Claw. Mm-hmm. So we saw her struggle with trying to become a hero. We never saw her just tip back into full-on crime. I don't believe. It's been a long time. Mm-hmm. So we missed that transition, but I can believe that it happened.
Right.
Even if it's less interesting. Sadly.
Yeah. But
I think she's still fun, though.
She's okay. I just can't get around how bad she looks in this art style.
See, I always have a bias towards the new Batman Adventures style.
I do too. I love every other character redesign except for her and Riddler. Yeah, because he's bald.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Fuck bald people.
There you have it, folks. Cameron finally revealed his strong opinions.
Yeah,
about the hair impaired.
Yep. I'm not going to go into that anymore. So the plot of this episode is Catwoman steals a cat statue, which I feel like we've seen this cat statue before.
I'm sure
it looks very familiar.
It looks very familiar, yeah.
From a cat cult.
Yep.
An ancient Egyptian cult that worships cats.
Yes.
And that's as well as I can explain it.
No, that's as well as explained in the episode. Yep. Yeah, so she's trying to run away from them. They keep following her. So eventually she just hops into the Batmobile. It's like, hey, Batman, you going to save me? Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, I'll take you to jail. I'll try and help. He's like trying to be helpful, but he also kind of realizes the futility of what he's doing. Mm-hmm. But he still does it anyways.
Yeah, because he has to.
because he has to, because he does try to be a good guy, and she's kind of the one that tips the balance for him a little bit. I think he loses some of his resolve a little bit in regards to her. But I mean, to be fair though, we have seen him go out his way to try and help other villains in the past.
Yeah.
You know, like he went out his way to help the ventriloquist, to help Harley.
Not Poison Ivy. He
not
hates Poison
Ivy.
He refuses to help Poison Ivy.
Yeah. No, we see more of that in the new Batman Adventures. There's a little bit softer side of him if he really wanted to try and help people. And so I think he wants to try and help, but he also realizes that it's pointless.
So the cultist sends out a couple Black Panthers with Wolverine claws.
Yeah. There's a reason they have those claws, which I'll get to in a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what Catman uses?
Yes.
Okay. There's also another character that uses those claws.
Wolverine?
Yes. No, that was the third one.
Who's the third one?
His name is Vega from Street Fighter. You don't know?
No, I have no knowledge of the Street Fighter universe.
Okay. He's like this, I want to say he's French.
Okay.
Spanish maybe. Vega. He wears a mask to cover his face.
Oh, wait.
And he has this long, beautiful, flowing blonde hair. And he doesn't wear a shirt.
Well, hang on then. Let me.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I saved the best part for last.
Yeah. You should bear the lead. Why don't you? Oh, okay. Let's take a look at this here. Oh, okay. I do know this guy. Yeah. He's got the like the white. What would you call that kind of mask?
Like a phantom mask.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Court of Owls. They use kind of the same sort of mask sort of thing going on. Yeah, he's got claws.
I wonder if that was ever like a functioning weapon.
This fan art here gives him quite the butt.
Oh yeah, because he's like the seductor of the Street Fighter universe. But like, was that? Because I tried to Google that if that was a real weapon that was ever used by some form of martial artist, and I didn't really find anything.
Oh, like those claws, those Wolverine claws. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because Catman does use them because Catman's in this episode.
Yes,
which is crazy. I don't know if they're an actual thing or not. Oh my God, is this the? I'm just looking at different photos of Vega, and I think this is him from what I'm assuming was the newer Street Fighter, The Legend of Chun-Li with Kristen Kruk.
Yes.
Oh my God, that is a horrible looking design. That's worse than like G.I. Joe.
Yes.
Level of costuming right there. Oh, it's real bad. Okay, I need to just look at. All right.
Okay, so Batman and Catwoman are now running from the cultists. They capture them.
Well, hang on. There's kind of a fun moment though. So they go to like a cat food factory or something like that. I forget what it was, but Batman is looking up the cult for a brief moment of exposition, and then of course the cult finds them, and Catwoman decides they're gonna escape through the furnace.
Yeah,
I thought that was kind of a fun set piece. Like we know where it's going. Obviously, they're gonna light the furnace on fire. They're gonna escape through the top. But I thought it was kind of fun. It was fun to see Catwoman insist on climbing up the top of it herself rather than just getting carried by Batman.
It's a very cat thing to do.
It is. And then, of course, they do light it, and it goes up. And so Batman, like, increases the speed of his zip line and just grabs Catwoman. But even, like, when it explodes up at the top, like, the whole, if I recall, like, the whole animation kind of goes white. And they kind of fly off to the sides. It looked really cool.
It was very pretty, yeah.
Yeah, it's very pretty. And it's that felt like a very just Batman moment to have in an episode, which I really liked a lot. But that was also followed up, I thought was another really interesting idea, is that so Catwoman gets kidnapped or captured after the explosion and taken back to the cult.
Catnapped.
Sorry,
yes. I didn't mean to.
No, you meant to. Just own it. Just lean into it. Lean into the puns, Cameron.
Never.
Give into the puns.
Never.
So Batman takes the last remaining henchman, and I thought this was interesting. He takes him to the Batcave to interrogate him.
I missed that whole scene.
How did you miss that whole scene?
I know what you mean now, because now I remember him standing on the edge of the cliff.
Yeah, he's at the edge of the cliff.
I completely missed that he took him back to the Batcave.
Batman...
Okay, that makes so much more sense now.
Batman, like, hiding off in the shadows somewhere, just kind of, like, is calling out to him. His voice
like
echoing
good
through the Batcave.
interrogation.
Yeah, he's like, oh, like, your favorite animal is the cat. Let me introduce you to mine. And just, like, a swarm of bats fly through and knock the guy off the edge of the cliff. And Batman, grabs him with a rappel line and winches him up. That's a really good moment.
That was a great interrogation
And I just thought it was
scene.
interesting that he would actually take him to the Batcave. It's something he really doesn't do ever.
Right.
He usually does it over the city, but I mean, we can just write up.
He had that line written down.
You did?
Of like, your favorite animal is the cat. Let me show you mine. But he could never get the bats to come into Gotham with him.
Yeah, right.
And so he's like, this is my one chance.
Do you think he sits down every once in a while with a notebook and just writes out what he's going to say? Yeah,
I'm sure he has a notebook
people?
for every villain, every major villain. He has puns ready.
Yeah, this is the man who his whole thing is about having contingency plans for every possible situation.
Yeah.
You know that includes his interrogation methods.
Oh yeah.
Too. He's like, okay, well, he probably has like a flow chart.
Yeah.
It's
like, do I want to rhyme cat and bat? Or that's too much. That takes away the gravitas
it's like, okay,
situation.
does the villain have some sort of like animal themed persona? Yes. Okay. Does it rhyme with bat? Yes. Okay. Take him to Batcave.
Yes. Interrogate him with bats. Can I go to a sporting goods store and get bats?
Yeah.
No? Okay.
Yeah, scratch? Nope.
Nope.
Is he also sports themed? Nope. Scratch. Okay. Normal bats.
Sportsmaster. Just the Sportsmaster page.
Yeah.
Do we want to do a bat versus bat joke? No? Okay. Let's try something else.
Oh, he would find a way.
He
absolutely would find a way. It's like, oh, I've seen your bats. Now meet mine.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Come fluttering out.
Yeah. So while all that's happening, Catwoman is at the cultist's place again.
Yeah.
Where she just seduces her way to the top.
That's what she does.
Yeah.
You know. It's a gift.
It is. But it kind of really denotes Catman, Thomas Blake.
Denotes?
That's a word, right?
I don't think you're using the right context.
I don't think I am either.
I think
trying to sound
doesn't
smart.
denotes indicate like it
plays down?
No, like I think doesn't
denounces?
No, I think doesn't denote like it's just, yeah, it's like an indication of.
Oh, then yeah.
Are you thinking demotes?
Maybe what I'm trying to get to is when we got our exposition in shut up. I don't need this right now. It's early and I have a kickball game in an hour. It really plays down.
There we go.
How like scary and powerful the cult leader is, Blake.
Yeah.
Because Batman even says like he's a crazy lunatic who takes theft very seriously.
Yeah, because that's what we find out about this whole cult is that they worship cats and they're all about stealing. So Catwoman's like, oh well, this is just
they should praise
meant
me.
for me.
Yeah,
yeah, and it, I never found him too threatening from the beginning.
But I feel like they should have, because like even Batman said, because Batman knows crazy.
Yeah,
like he deals with the Joker,
yeah,
and he's calling this man crazy. So I wanted like that level of insanity.
Yeah,
like he doesn't just like praise like the last scene where the saber-toothed tiger thing like jumps out at him. I wanted him to like fall to his knees and be like, "I accept you," kind of crazy.
Yeah, but I don't think he's actually that committed to the whole thing.
I know, but he should. If Batman calls him
because
crazy,
even his number two, I don't think she actually has a name, kind of calls him out. And it's like really? Like, you're just going to let her into this cult without having gone through any of the rituals, any sort of like sign of commitment or something like that. I think he's just gets off on the power of it all.
He's thinking with his dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
It's a problem.
Yes. Yes, it is. So Batman goes to try and rescue Catwoman, and she knocks him out to try and then like drag him out to safety. But of course, she gets caught. And it's like, oh, he was trying to rescue me, so they're just gonna sacrifice him too. So they dump him down into this big underground pit, and they unleash, this massive.
They said it's a genetically altered cat.
Yeah.
It's the strongest of its species.
Yes.
Now it's just a saber-toothed tiger.
It's just a saber-toothed tiger, basically. Did you have the same thought I did in that we look for connective tissue? Were you kind of hoping they were going to make like a Farmer Brown reference?
No. I was ready for a cat. I was ready for like Jaguar from Mortal Kombat.
Wait, there's a character named Jaguar?
I'm pretty sure that's his name.
I don't think there's a Jaguar in Mortal Kombat.
There's one it might be in Tekken. There's definitely a Jaguar in a fighting game.
Oh, wait, is there a jaguar? I don't think so.
I know who I'm talking about because he's a man that just wears a jaguar mask. And I might be Tekken.
I think it's Tekken. I mean, I know like pretty much all the characters that were in. Oh, I think it's this guy, King from Tekken.
That's his name.
Okay. Oh my God. Yeah, he's basically.
That's what I wanted.
He's just a luchador with a jaguar's head.
Yes, that's exactly what I wanted when the door opened. That's exactly what I wanted.
Oh my God. I love this one. This one right here in the middle, where his head is like way too small.
Yeah.
For the rest of his body, and it's just a normal jaguar. What the shit? This is a thing?
Yes, and he was my favorite.
Wait, so is he wearing a mask or is that his actual head?
I don't know the lore.
I think it looks like an actual jaguar head on top of his body.
I think
this
it
is bizarre. Mm-hmm. That's what you're hoping would be in the pit?
Yes.
Was just a dude with a jaguar's head?
Yes.
You know what? I would have preferred that too.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been better. God, what the hell? I will say I loved because Catwoman does quickly decide she's going to jump in and help Batman, which I did like. I like that even she's willing to acknowledge that she's got to give him a hand. So she jumps in there to help him out. And what I did love was that there was a nice they brought back her ability to just like hang out with cats. Because in the beginning, she's racing through a good hedge maze, and I always love a good hedge maze.
Right.
And in the center of it is a panther, I'm assuming. And
It's Bulgaria.
It's Bagheera, exactly, yeah. And she very quickly was like, oh, nice kitty. And the panther's like, okay, you're cool. I like you.
Yeah.
And then he goes after all the other henchmen. I like the fact that that would have been just a good moment, even just a throwaway moment in there, just kind of for fun and just to play off of her own persona. I like they brought it back around again. She does the same thing with the Sabretooth and then gets that cat to go after all the cultists.
Yeah.
That was actually pretty fun. So I'll give her that thing. I'll give her that little moment. But yeah, then Batman basically just gets into a tussle with not quite Catman.
Right.
And
with Vega.
With Vega.
Okay, now my I don't know why I'm having so many fighter game references today.
I don't know. It's because we played Rampage. Are you just on like
so.
this like?
I'm in the zone now. Soul Calibur, Street Fighter, Tekken, Blue Blaze, Blaze Blue. That's the name of it.
Blaze Blue. That's an actual game.
Oh, it's so pretty.
I've never even heard of it.
Marvel vs. Capcom.
Oh wait, Blaze Blue is Marvel vs. Capcom?
No. They're separate games. I'm just listing off more fighting games.
Okay. Wait, what's Blaze Blue?
It's very pretty. It's very anime inspired.
Oh, okay.
Yogi's
having a good time over there, just scratch himself on the carpet, flopping around a little bit.
Yeah. So
oh, this is pretty. This is gorgeous looking.
So I think at the end of the episode they tried to say that the Sabretooth fell on Vega's Wolverine claws and also died.
No, they don't. What? No.
You see him like panting after falling into the pit.
Well, yeah, he leaps. Batman tries the same like nice kitty thing, and it works. And so the Sabretooth jumps at Blake, and they fall into the pit. I just assumed that they both got knocked out by the impact.
But if he's really the genetic peak of cats, he would have landed on his feet.
Yeah, I know, but
unless he was injured.
I don't know. What do you want me to say?
I wanted to say they killed a cat in this episode. Well, no, and I'm calling PSA.
PETA?
I'm done. Can we just get to bad plugs?
Here I would have thought on a Sunday morning you'd be like sharper than on a Sunday evening, but I guess not. Hang on real quick. But no, they didn't kill the cat because he's going off to the Gotham Zoo, which I'm just curious what that exhibit's going to look like. Where the fuck do you put this massive saber-toothed tiger?
I don't know.
It's probably they probably have a new dedicated section of just giant genetically modified animals.
Yeah. It's the Super Zoo.
It's the Super Zoo. Yeah.
The regular Gotham Zoo is free. The Super Zoo is where they make their money.
Yeah. And then, of course, all the cultists get arrested. And then Catwoman gets her happy ending.
Yeah.
Kind of. She takes off with a whole bunch of the stolen goods.
With, like everything from the cultists.
Yeah. And heads off and gets herself a nice flat out in Paris by the Eiffel Tower. And, I mean, so... My understanding is, at least based off the bit of trivia that I read, this is the last appearance of Catwoman in the DCAU.
Okay.
So this is her happy ending, I guess. Do you think it fits?
Yeah, I don't like it, but it fits.
I don't know what else they could have done though. Like, because they
throw her in jail.
There. All right, there we go.
There you go. That's the end.
Problem solved. Throw her in jail. Done.
Hit her with the book.
Yeah, throw the book at her.
That's insane.
No, it's hit her with the book. God damn it. So it is worth noting, we did mention this before, that this is our only appearance of Catman in the DCAU. I only realized this morning when I watched the episode, and I scrambled to try and get some notes for him, and I really couldn't. But like he seems to kind of be one of those villains that falls in that category of like a killer moth. Like no one seems to take him seriously. Actually, at one point he did team up with a whole bunch of other like third-rate villains. They called themselves the Misfits, one of whom was also Killer Moth. But I guess he's been like a Green Arrow villain at times, and I feel like that they brought him back in like not too long ago, like the Secret Six or something like that. And I think he was actually taken a little bit more seriously. But his whole origin is that he was a millionaire, like game hunter, and he got bored with this, and so he decided to just become a cat burglar. And he modeled himself kind of as a combination of Batman and Catwoman. He has catarangs, which is fantastic. And what I love though is that so his suit is traditionally like yellow, orange, and brown. Yeah, you can go let Yogi in. He's all mopey. He doesn't want to be out here with us. I understand, Yogi. I get it. Yeah, that's good. Okay. But so his suit is usually like yellow, orange, and brown. I have a little Lego of him where it's like brown suit, and he's got the Wolverine claws. But he does use those like bladed claws as one of his staple weapons.
Yeah.
So that's why I think they had an appearance in this episode. But I'm surprised you haven't mentioned yet the other famous animated Catman.
Oh, Adam West.
Yes, from the Fairly Odd Parents.
Yes, I was going to talk about that.
Yeah, playing a version of his own persona from the 60s Batman TV show, but he is modeled exactly like Catman from the DC Comics. He's basically wearing the same suit.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you said he wore yellow and like browns, that it reminded me of.
Yeah, it's like here's a cover like one of the Detective Comics way back in the day.
That's amazing.
And it's a yellow suit with an orange like cowl, and that's exactly what it looks like in the Fairly Odd Parents.
I was trying to think of. I hate that I can't remember his name because he's one of my favorites. In the jail, in JLU, he is the guy who trains Black Canary.
Wildcat,
thank you.
Yeah, Ted Grant.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sounds right. He sounds like a good pair up with Catman.
In what sense? Like they should fight each other because they're both cat-based?
Yeah.
We should go off the Marvel origin film format and just have two cat-themed villains fighting each other?
Exactly. No, Wildcat's not a villain.
Sorry, whatever.
Yeah.
Fine. You're not the only one who's slow this morning, Cameron.
No, I just mean like that'd be like a good villain for him. Of like they're both normal people, and like it could be like a rich versus like the upper class versus
battle of classes. Yeah, I guess it could be kind of interesting.
Like, I don't need your gosh darn gadgets.
Yeah. Well, because
I got my fists.
We get a bit of Wildcat in the JLU.
I always love Wildcat's appearances.
Yeah. That character has a really great appearance in DC New Frontier.
Yeah, I know all about it.
Yeah, you know all about it.
I liked it too.
It's
great.
Do you remember he showed up briefly? This is Wildcat we're talking about now, not Catman, mind you.
In Arrow?
In Arrow for like a couple episodes. You feel like they were setting him up to like be part of the big team up at the end of season 2 as he's training Laurel, and then he just completely disappeared from the plot entirely.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a disappointment.
It is. Because Wildcat's in JLU, he's in Brave and the Bold, with some great episodes in Brave and the Bold.
Well, he's kind of an interesting guy because he's like one of the few holdovers from like the golden era that it becomes a mentor for a lot of like the Silver Age characters. Silver Age characters.
Yeah. Yeah, he basically is like the trainer for all of them.
Yeah.
He's the one that teaches combat, like basic hand-to-hand combat to everyone.
Yeah. Because does he appear in the episode of JLU with Roulette where all the female heroes go into the cage fight? Is he in that episode?
I don't.
Does he ever get like an actual episode on his own? Or is he just kind of always in the background?
He does in Brave and the Bold, not in JLU. Because Brave and the Bold, he gets the same storyline as the Roulette episode.
Oh,
where he's
okay.
the one he's the one fighting in the cage matches, and Black Canary has to go. Black Canary and Batman have to go and talk him into like, no, you're still a hero. We still like you.
It's pretty awesome, actually.
It's a great episode.
What? I didn't watch Brave and the Bold.
You do.
I really do.
We should have bought the box set yesterday.
Oh, fuck, we should have.
Yeah.
God, what am I doing with my life?
Just
skip past that question.
Nothing. That's what you're doing with your life. Nothing.
Yeah. Okay. I think have we talked enough about cats?
I guess
at this point, should we mosey along to bat plugs?
Let's knock it out.
Okay. What do you got to plug?
I finally saw Tomb Raider.
Oh, okay.
We talked
yes,
about.
I did want to talk. We you know talked a little bit about this, but I did want to talk about it.
Yeah, we can speed through it real quick over on the podcast. So
Yeah.
the world can hear our thoughts.
Yeah.
I liked it a little more than you did.
You did, but you also haven't played the games.
I've not.
I think that's part of the problem. Is
As the one making the the one making the video game references today has not played the video game we're talking about.
exactly. You know, because I really enjoy those games. Just the mechanics of them are really fun, but also it's just like they have like pretty decent stories. And the parts of the Tomb Raider movie that I liked were the parts that were letting themselves be their own movie. Where it's like in the beginning when we like first meet her and she's like working as like a bike courier and there's that weird like bike chase scene.
Yeah.
It's kind of dumb.
The great scene from Premium Rush.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a ripoff of Premium
It's a
Rush.
great movie.
But
so underrated.
It's it's kind of a dumb scene, but it's kind of fun and playful and I don't know. It fits that character, so I kind of liked all of that.
Yeah.
But then I liked it basically up to the point where she gets onto the island, and then it was just the pacing of it was really weird, and you could see where they were just like shoehorning in parts of the comic,
Right.
Where like so she just thank you from the game where she like just grabs a bow and arrow and just starts using it randomly, or a big part of the games was having that axe, and that axe becomes like her main tool for a huge part of it. Like she uses it as a weapon, she uses it to like climb along walls and to jump and grab onto things, which is like shown in the trailer. It's kind of a huge asset for her, and they just kind of like casually just toss it in at the end as sort of like, oh, and by the way, like we're just gonna throw this in so we can have a moment in the trailer where she has it to try and be like, hey, it's just like the video games. And my real big problem, and I suppose this is the only real spoiler here if you don't want to know, I guess jump ahead like a couple minutes, is she is a skeptic about all this all the way through, and then there's no mysticism whatsoever.
Right.
And that really bugged me because that's the whole point of the games too, is that everyone's kind of like, oh, this is probably not a real thing, but in the end there are actual mythical elements, like there's big stone soldiers and stuff. And I get that they were trying to do something different than previous movies, but for me that just basically just set her up to be a spy. And I was like, no, that's not her whole shtick. Yeah. That's not the whole deal. Like what sets this apart from like a James Bond or something like that is that she actually has to like fight mystical elements.
Well, we did talk about that briefly before, of the idea of every other movie of this genre just does it better.
Yeah.
So like because clearly Lara Croft is meant to be the female Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
But like I don't know if they were trying to not be like Indy, but you can definitely see the inspiration for Indy. You can see like National Treasure elements. Yeah. And we mentioned another one.
Well, the Mummy.
Yeah, that was the big thing. That's why I was worried with the mysticism part, is it was just going to turn into a Mummy film.
But I think that would have been a possibility. I think what could have worked here, though, was that in the Mummy, the mysticism is set up right from the beginning.
Yeah.
So we know that it's real all the way through, and we're just waiting for the heroes to catch up to that. Here, we don't know up until the end, and I feel like at the end, it should have been a real thing.
Yeah.
And then, because even in the first Tomb Raider, I feel like, she goes, like, it's like selecting like the time triangle thing at the end, and like, I guess it doesn't go full on mythical until the very end, but it's set up pretty early on that there's an element of that there.
Yeah.
And this could have been just like, it's kind of like they were trying to like subvert our expectations, and in doing so, they just were really underwhelming. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought it was fine. I would still rather watch this than Wrinkle in Time.
I still haven't seen Wrinkle in Time.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm still very bitter about it.
Probably not going to bother with that one.
That's all right.
I would be curious now. I might try and go back and rewatch the old Tomb Raiders and see which ones I like more.
Oh, yeah.
I suspect I might like the old ones actually more.
I have very little memory of the old ones. I know I've seen them, but I don't remember them at all.
I mean, I remember them pretty well. I remember being really excited for the first one when it came out. Plus, it'd be fun to go back and watch an American and Angelina Jolie play a Brit, and then also a Brit and Daniel Craig, a very young Daniel Craig, play an American. So,
the other thing I want to plug really quickly is I talked to you about it yesterday because we actually talked yesterday.
I know.
Is there's a great video on YouTube from Channel Frederator, which we've plugged a few times before.
A number of times, yeah.
Yeah. And it's the title of the video is Was Atlantis Supposed to Be Road to El Dorado?
Oh, right.
And it kind of goes over that fight between like the twin movies of between DreamWorks and Disney, where you had DreamWorks come out with Ants at the same time as Bug's Life, you had Shark Tale and Finding Nemo. You had
what was the one that won? It was The Wild.
The Wild and Madagascar.
Oh,
you
right,
had Flushed Away and Ratatouille. So they briefly go into that, but what I found really entertaining from the video was going into Katzenberg, Katzenberg. Sure, I'm working on it. Who was
think the whole rest of the episode? It's Katzenberg.
Nope,
not Kratzenberg.
Who was very high up at Disney and who a lot of people give praise to for starting the Renaissance. Mm-hmm. He was fired from Disney in '95, and basically the second he was fired, he teamed up with Spielberg to create DreamWorks.
Yeah.
Because I didn't realize DreamWorks SKE stood for Spielberg Katzenberg Entertainment.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fuck, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So yeah, like it goes over into just like how bitter he was about leaving Disney.
Yeah.
There's also like a lot of really cool gems about it, but I'll let you guys listen to it, so I don't have to talk about the whole video.
Oh, perfect. Mm-hmm. I do want to check that out though, because it does sound really interesting.
It was really cool. I love hearing about like old Disney things.
Yeah, anything inside baseball with Disney. Yeah. Cameron's on board for.
It's what I dream about.
Yeah.
What are you watching, listening, reading?
I really haven't had time in the last week to read anything new or watch anything new or listen to anything new.
That's okay.
But given that we were just at WonderCon, I guess I can mention like some of the booths that we stopped by and got some stuff from.
Mm-hmm.
So that really sweet Batman Beyond jacket that I'm wearing in the photo we put up to Instagram with the two Camerons at WonderCon, I got that from Luca Designs, and it was originally suggested to me by our good friend Jeb that I had to go check this thing out because they do like Batman, they do like a Star-Lord jacket, they do some really cool stuff. And then, yeah, Cameron, you and I were there, and I was like, nah, I shouldn't buy this. And you're just like, yeah, you should buy it.
You should buy it.
I'm like, okay, fine,
I was being your responsible conscience.
Yeah, exactly. So I got that. It's pretty sweet, I have to admit. I like it a lot. I always try and stop by Prism Comics when I'm at any sort of a con because they are like one of the premier queer, I guess, publishers, but also like aggregators of different queer comic content. Mm-hmm. So I picked up a comic that I haven't started reading yet, so I'll wait to plug that until I've actually started it. But they're great, so if you always get a chance, go check them out. They have really cool stuff.
Yeah.
And then the last one, actually two more. One is Icky Pop, where I got my amazing She-Man pin that you recommended, and then you got a couple pins too from them, right?
Yeah, they just had like generic geek content. So they had like a funny Son Goku pin from the original Dragon Ball series. And then what was the other one that I got? I already forgot it.
Oh, okay. Yes, that was good. And then the last one, of course, I almost forgot about, and you had to remind me of it.
Because it was the best booth.
It was the best booth. It's Gays in Space.
Yes.
3 A's on each. And they kind of came together to celebrate the first openly queer character in Star Trek, which didn't happen until Star Trek Beyond.
50 years
into the franchise. Yeah. And then, eventually that's kind of spilled further along into Discovery with like the first gay couple on screen. But, for a series known for kind of pushing the boundaries of inclusion way back from the beginning, with Uhura, with Chekhov, they've always been a little bit slow on the upkeep in that particular element. And so this group kind of came together to celebrate that, but also then to do different events just to promote queer characters in sci-fi in general. I guess they're doing something like the day after this podcast comes out in LA, so I can't go. I have something else on Wednesday, but it'll be in the episode description, so I guess you can go check it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do like touring stuff, and they partnered with a whole bunch of like stars of the show who have like the various shows have come around to the events and sort of that. So, but they had a real fun booth setup where you could get photos with Gay Kirk and a whole bunch of rainbow tribbles. It was pretty fun. I wish I'd kind of bought one of the rainbow tribbles.
I'm sure you can get them online.
Yeah. They also had that amazing shirt that was set phasers to fabulous.
Yep.
Oh, it was pretty damn good. But yeah, we talked to them for a few minutes. A cool group. So yeah, go check them out as well.
Yeah.
But I think that does it.
Did we make it? Did we make it to the end?
We made it to the end, unless you have more thoughts on either Cats and or Steven Spielberg.
So many more thoughts. I talked about Spielberg for
Has
days.
Spielberg ever done anything cat themed?
I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll eventually get Steven Spielberg's version of the musical Cats, and it'll be amazing.
There was a cat in Animaniacs, which he produced.
Well, Rita, right? Rita was the cat.
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure. Doesn't matter.
Not important.
I don't know. Why don't you guys write to us and tell us what the name of the cat was from?
Yeah. Also tell us what we got wrong, because I'm sure it's a lot in this episode.
Sure, yeah, this episode especially. It's a lot. But yeah, we are at Timm Talk Pod on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and a Gmail.
Yes.
I am at Lordifer on Instagram and Twitter. Posted a few things from WonderCon, or we'll be posting a few things from WonderCon. But I know you posted more, Cameron. Where can they find you?
You can find my face at Dexter_Adventures. You can find my videos and my animations, and you can see if I finally post something for Ready Player One by Friday on Cameron.Dexter. And you can see my shirts and stuff and more WonderCon stuff, because I think I posted most of it to Core Memories.
Yeah.
If you want to see my other company, you can follow at Core Memories Co. on Instagram.
Yeah. And so our next episodes up are In Brightest Day.
Yes.
So Green Lantern, and then Animal Act, which I looked it up, and it's Dick Grayson going back to Haley's circus to try and solve a mystery. But it's very possible our episode next week might be a spoiler discussion all about Ready Player One, just a bonus episode for that alone. So it's gonna be one of those two things. Mm-hmm. But as always, thank you very much for listening. Mm-hmm. We do appreciate it, especially when we ramble on like idiots.
Yep.
So
we're sorry.
We're always very sorry.
Awesome. Thank you guys for listening.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, listen to Sequel Squeal, the podcast where we watch a movie and all its sequels, right, Benny?
Yes, you are correct, Chad Foglin.
Right here on the Nerd School Network.
Yay, us!
Yeah, we're done. That was good.
The Nerd School Network. For class and show information, visit nerdischool.com.